Okay, so I'm getting ready to do my in-cab inspection, and one of the things they will test you on is to make sure that when you get in the truck that you're using 3 points of contact, so that you're either using 2 hands on the bar and 1 step on each wheel, or that you're using one hand and 2 feet. The easiest way I like to get in is I like to put 1 hand here, 1 hand here, and then just climb up. So I'm gonna do that now. I'll put the phone down for just a minute. I'm gonna get in the truck. Okay, so now I'm in the truck. And so now this is the in-cab portion of the pre-trip inspection. So the first thing that I'm gonna do while I'm sitting in this chair is I'm going to check the condition of the seatbelt. I'm gonna make sure that the seatbelt is not frayed, ripped, that it latches securely to the buckle. It does. So I can take that off for now. Make sure that's mounted securely to the door. Then I want to mention that I have 3 reflective triangles in the side, on the side door, which is on the outside of the tractor. That I have emergency fuses in the glove box, and that I have a 5BC fire extinguisher that is secured mounted securely, and that it's fully charged. Now, if you want it, for the purpose of the test, I guess it depends on your examiner. You can get out and actually check to see. There's a little indicator on it that actually tells you that it's full or that it's not full. And of course, as long as you see this mount here, that means it's securely mounted. It's not gonna like fly around or anything like that. And then if you want to, if they want to get really picky with you, and you want to open the glove box and pull out your electrical fuses, and you want to go outside and pull out your reflective triangles, that's up to you. I don't think they get that picky, but they might. But hopefully you don't have to do that. I think if you just mention that you know that they're there and that you're going to check them, I think that they're okay with that. So now I come to this portion here. I come to my my POV view here, and I'm gonna start off. This is the way I like to do it, so that I make sure that I'm not missing anything. So I'm gonna start off by saying that my side mirrors are clean, not cracked or damaged, and that they're properly adjusted for the driver. My windshield is not cracked or broken, and there's no illegal stickers on my windshield. Then I'm gonna move on to, in this case, I don't have the keys to this thing, so I'm not gonna be able to turn it on. So I'm gonna kind of talk about it as if I was gonna turn on the car or the truck. I keep saying the car. It's the truck. So in this case, I would move the truck to. This is actually interesting. I'm telling you, there's something with this truck because it is in the on position right now. It's not even in the off position. Yeah, I bet that's doing wonders for the battery. Anyways, I would turn the key to the on position, and one of the first things that I would check is to make sure that the ABS light comes on and that it turns off, indicating that my ABS is working properly. Then I would actually kick on the engine. And once the engine is on, I'm going to mention that my water temperature should be about at 180 degrees, that my oil pressure should be a minimum of 30 PSI, that my battery voltage should be sitting at around 14 volts. And then I also want to mention that my primary and secondary air pressure should sit in between 120 and 140 PSI for both the primary and secondary. In this case, in this Kenworth T680, it has a dual needle system. So your orange is your primary, your green is your secondary air. In a lot of other trucks, you'll have 2 gauges separate from each other, and you would mention the air pressure on each of those gauges. In this case, it's a dual needle system, so you just mention, primary and secondary should be at 120 to 140 PSI. then that is it for this portion of the in cab. Then you would move on. Then what I like to do is to make sure that I don't forget about the lights. You have to make sure that you're going to check that your lights come on, and that your high beams come on, that your high beam indicator comes on. So you would turn on your high beam. Your high beam indicator is working. You can go ahead and turn that off now. And then I like to check the defrost. Defrost is a requirement, so you would turn your knob all the way to high, heat all the way up. Turn your defrost to the defrost and feet mode. And with the defrost on, you would check that it's on the top, and you would check that it's on the bottom. Then you can turn it off from there if you don't want to keep it on. Then from here, I come back to the wheel, and I'm gonna do my light checks. So I'm gonna do my left indicator or turn signal, my right turn signal, my four-way flashers. I want to make sure that all that works. And then the last thing I'm going to check is the windshield wipers. So I'm going to make sure that the windshield wipers work. You know, in this case, I can't turn the truck on, so I can't test them. But I would make sure that they actually function, that they go across, and that they work. I would check to make sure that the fluid works too. So you check that the fluid cleans off evenly, it works. And then I would check the condition of the wiper blades themselves to make sure that they're mounted securely and that the blades are not torn or excessively worn. Then that completes all the excuse me, no, it doesn't. The last thing that I would check would be the city horn and the air horn. You want to make sure that those two things are working. Now, this part of it is done. Now I'm ready to move on to the actual brake test. So I would kick the car into you know, it might already be in the on position. You might already have the engine running. If you do, you then start to do your first parking brake test. So the parking brake test starts off by disengaging your trailer brakes. You're going to disengage your trailer brakes. You're going to leave your tractor brakes on. You're going to move you're going to put the tractor into the drive position, and you're going to tap on the gas, the accelerator, and you're going to feel it tug. If you feel it tug and the tractor doesn't move, then you're good to go. Or you're not going to feel the tractor move. It should stay in place. That means your tractor brakes are working. Now you engage the trailer brakes, and now you disengage your tractor brakes, push that in, and then you're going to do the same thing, put it in drive, and you're going to push the accelerator just a bit, and you're going to feel it tug. You shouldn't move. The trailer should not move. That means that your trailer brakes are working, and then you're done there. So now you go ahead and you engage your brakes again, and from here you're actually going to do your service brake test. So to do the service brake test, you're gonna disengage both of your brakes. You're gonna put it back into drive. You're gonna put it back from neutral to drive, and you're actually gonna accelerate up to 5 miles an hour. Once you get up to 5 miles an hour, you're gonna apply the service brakes, and you should feel your wheel should not do this. If your wheel does this, or if it does this when you brake, that means that you might have misaligned brakes. So when you brake, you shouldn't even see the wheel move. That means that your brakes are good. So you're done with your service brake test. So you can disengage, or you can engage your brakes again. Now it's time to move on to your air brake test. For your air brake test, before you start it, you can go ahead and turn off the truck, and you can either leave it on or turn off the truck. It's up to you. And then you're going to go to your side door on the outside of your tractor and get your wheel chocks, and you're going to chock the wheel over here on the driver's side. You chock the wheel, you come back into the tractor, and now you turn the truck on to the on position. You don't turn it all the way. You don't ignite the engine. You just turn it to the on position, so that you can see your air pressure dials build up to where it should be. You have to have the PSI on the air gauges at least over 100 to do this test, do the air brake test. So if your gauges are not at 100 PSI, go ahead and build it up to at least 100 on both of them, primary and secondary. From there, you're going to go ahead and start your air brakes test. So you want to disengage the brakes. You push these two in. And with them in, you're going to ask your examiner to time you from 1 minute from the time that you engage the service brakes. So in this case, I would ask the examiner, please time me starting now. I would hold the brakes down, and during this minute, you're going to be paying attention to the air gauges to make sure that you are not losing more than 4 PSI in that minute. After the minute is over, if you didn't lose it, you would then tell your examiner, I did not lose more than 4 PSI during that test. So then you would let go of the brakes and still keep your brakes released. Remember that you have the wheel chocks in place for this reason, so you're not going to roll. Don't get scared about that. So from here, now you're going to do the air pressure warning light test. And you're going to tell your examiner that the air pressure lights for the primary and secondary air gauges should come on at 60 PSI. And now you're going to tap the brakes until they get to around 60, and you should see the indicator lights come on for both your primary and secondary. It's important to make sure that they come on for both. So you want to make sure that you have that. Once the warning light comes on, you'll say that my warning lights for my air pressure warning lights have come on for both my primary and secondary air gauges. And then you're going to do the final air brake test, which is pumping the service brakes until your tractor and trailer brakes engage. So you would continue, and you would mention too, that I'm going to continue to press my service brakes, and my trailer and tractor brakes will engage between 20 and 40 PSI on the primary and secondary. So you keep tapping the brake, you keep pushing the brakes down until it comes down to 20 or 40, and you'll see your brakes engage. And you want to make sure that both of them engage, not just one of them, but that both of them pop out. Once you see both of them pop out, then you want to say that my brakes have engaged. I will now go remove my wheel chocks, and my air brake test is complete. Once you've done that, then that's it. You're done with your full pre-trip inspection. I got this part pretty much down. This was the first thing that I got down when I was doing this, and I felt pretty good about it. So I'm pretty happy that that I pretty much got this down. Once again, if any of you feel like I missed something, feel free to let me know. I do want to let you know that once again, I'm doing this in the way that I was taught for the exam. So if you feel like, oh, you missed this, man, it's like, yeah, I know that, but you don't need that portion for the exam purposes. In this case, like for instance, one of the things that's not on the test, that's actually on your pre-trip, is to make sure that your area is clean. So you want to make sure you don't have shit, you don't have trash and all that other junk in your truck area, or else that's, you don't want to have a bunch of crap on your dash. Then that's usually a good way to fail a pre-trip inspection, a good way to get a DOT inspector to go ahead and stop you. If he sees a bunch of crap all over your dash, that's a good sign for him to be like, I'm gonna stop that guy. And if you haven't cleaned the inside of your cabin, good luck. But but for the purpose of the exam, I was told that you don't have to mention that. So that's why I didn't mention it while I was doing this in-cab check. But I think I pretty much got it. That is the full entire pre-trip inspection. If anybody has any questions on that, feel free to leave a comment in the comments. Hopefully, like I'm doing two things here with this video. I'm helping myself out because I haven't taken the CDL exam yet. I'm about a week away from taking it, but I just thought that I would record this to see where I'm at, kind of gauge myself as far as where I'm at with the pre-trip inspection, because that pre-trip inspection is so important that if you fail it, you will not even get to do the driving portion of the CDL exam. They will tell you that you failed the pre-trip inspection and you're done for the day. So this is why the pre-trip inspection is so important as it pertains to the CDL exam, because if you don't get this right, you're not going to be able to move on to the driving part. So you might be the best driver, but if you can't get the pre-trip inspection done right, you ain't going to be able to show that. So it makes a difference to really know this and to spend some time learning it. One thing that I did forget to mention, I just remembered, is on the air brake test, what's very important about the air brake portion of the test is that it is the only part of the pre-trip inspection that is an auto fail if you do it incorrectly. If you do any part of the air brake test, there's 3 different air brake tests. There's the holding, there's the pressure check, right? The 4 psi per minute check. There's the warning indicator light test. That's the second one. And then there's the emergency engagement of the brakes, right? Which comes at 20 to 40 psi test. If you fail any portion of that air brake test, or if you forget to go and put the wheel chocks on before you start the air brake test, that is an auto fail on the pre-trip exam. You could have gotten everything else right on the outside of the truck, on the in-cab, but if you get to this part right here on the air brakes test, after you've done your parking and your service, if you get any part of the air brakes test portion incorrect, you auto fail the entire pre-trip exam. That's what I was told. Maybe it's not like that in every state. I'll be taking this test in Missouri, but I was told that if you fail any portion of the air brake test, it is an auto failure of the pre-trip exam and you are done for the day. So very important that you make sure when you're doing that air brake test that you do that 100% correctly. But that's what I got, guys. Like I said, feel free to leave any comments about this if you want to discuss it, or if you feel like I missed anything that could be docked against me on the CDL exam. Feel free to leave me a comment and help me out. Hopefully this not only helps me out, but hopefully that helps any of you out that might be struggling or that may be looking to get some tips on how to do this pre-trip inspection. I pretty much ran through the whole thing for you. So I feel pretty good about it. I'm going to keep practicing it almost every other day until exam day so that I don't miss anything on this. But until then, guys, just keep a lookout on the channel. I'll be putting more videos as I can. And like and subscribe, and I'll see y'all guys down the road. Okay, so I wanted to mention one more thing that I actually just remembered that I forgot. That's actually very important to your pre-trip. And it's actually doing the assisted light function, which means you tell your examiner, I'm going to check the functionality of all of my lights. Could you please step outside? And you would go through the motions of all the lights. You would tell them, can you please check my clearance lights, my brake lights in the front, my left and right turn signal 4-way flashers on the front. Check your 4-way flashers on the front. Please, you would tell them, I'm turning on my high beams, and they would tell you, they would give you, checking my high beams, and they would give you a thumbs up. Checking my day lights, and they give you a thumbs up. I'm checking my left turn signal, they give you a thumbs up. Checking my right turn signal, they give you a thumbs up. My four-way flashers, I'm checking those, they give you a thumbs up. You know, clearance lights on the top, they give you a thumbs up. And then you said, I'm going to check my left turn signal marker light on the left side of the tractor. They give you a thumbs up. Now please check it on the right side of my tractor. They give you a thumbs up. And you move on to the tractor lights. I have a left turn signal that I would like you to, left turn signal and marker light on the left side of my trailer that I'd like you to check. They give you a thumbs up. Checking my clearance light on the top, on the left side on the top of my trailer. They give you a thumbs up. Do the same thing on the right. You know, right turn signal and four-way flasher on the right side of the tractor is working. Clearance light on the right side of the tractor is working. You know, they give you a thumbs up. Then you want to do then that's really all. And you want to, you know, have them check the left, you know, the left marker lights, the left and the right marker lights. Make sure that they're on. They give you a thumbs up. You send them over, depending on what state and who your examiner is, you may have to send them to both spots. So you can send them to the rear of the tractor to check the brake lights, to check the left turn signal, the right turn signal, the four-way flashers on the back, and the reverse lights. So you put it in reverse. The reverse light should come on in the rear of the tractor. Then you want to tell them, I please want you to check the rear, the lights on the rear of my trailer. You would then tell them, are my three marker lights on the top on? They'll give you a thumbs up. I'm now checking my left turn signal. Thumbs up. Right turn signal. Brake lights. Four-way flashers. And they give you all your thumbs up. And then after that, you're done with your light. You're done with your assisted light function. So after you're done with that, then you go ahead and move on to the in-cab inspection. So you do the assisted light function first, so that they can make sure that all your lights are working. Then you move on to the in-cab, and you do everything that you just saw in the video. But I thought I would throw that in there because that's also very important, because you're going to have to do it. I just totally forgot about it until I was getting ready to get out of the truck, and I was like, oh crap, I didn't even do the assisted light function thing. So yeah, you want to make sure you do that.